Hello, sports fans. Welcome to Super Sports Central. Today, we're going to be going over my Week 1 UFL predictions. Kicking things off with the season opener on Friday, and that is the Battlehawks at the Roughnecks. And we'll be having a live watch party for this game starting at about 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday, so I hope to see you guys there. The Battlehawks, they were good last year as they went 7-3 and made the playoffs, and then faced a Roughnecks team that was the worst team in the league, finishing at just 1-9. Although both teams have gone through a lot of changes throughout the offseason. Offensively for the Battlehawks, they're pretty good, and they have a ton of playmakers on offense to surround their quarterback. Although the Battlehawks do have a quarterback battle ongoing between Manny Wilkins and former TCU quarterback Max Duggan. Now, when the Battlehawks released their depth chart for this game, they listed Manny Wilkins as the starter, although Max Duggan is expected to see some playing time. And the Battlehawks offense matches up against a Roughnecks defense that was decent a year ago, but they should be pretty solid on that side of the ball. Then on the flip side, the Roughnecks have named former Oregon quarterback Anthony Brown as their starting quarterback as he beat out Nolan Henderson, and I'm excited to see what he can do in the Houston offense. He's a great dual threat quarterback, and the Roughnecks, they've also got some pretty good players around him like Kirk Murray and Justin Hall. But Anthony Brown and the Roughnecks offense, they face a really tough Battlehawks defense that is one of the better defenses in the UFL. But I think this is going to be a fairly close game. I think this is going to be a lower scoring game as both teams try to get comfortable with their new quarterbacks. But I do have the Battlehawks getting the win here. They're the better defensive team, better overall team. I've got the Battlehawks winning the UFL season opener and winning by a score of 19-13. Moving to the game on Saturday, and that is the Brahmas at the Renegades. So this is a game that I think is going to be pretty good. The Brahmas, they're coming off a year where they went 7-3 and made it to the UFL championship game. And the Renegades, they didn't have their best year at 3-7, but they were a lot better than their record suggests, and they had a pretty good offseason. Offensively for the Renegades, they're led by quarterback Luis Perez, who might be the best quarterback in the league, as he led the UFL in passing yards and passing touchdowns last season. And I think this can be a pretty good Renegades offense, especially through the air, as not only do they have Luis Perez, but they've got a great group of receivers. But the Renegades offense matches up against a Brahmas defense that is arguably best in the UFL, as they have elite players on all three levels of their defense, and I think it is going to be very hard to score and move the ball against this Brahmas defense, regardless of how good your offense is. Then on the other side, the Brahmas offense is led by former Vikings third-round pick and Texas A&M quarterback Kellen Mond. And I have really high hopes for Kellen Mond this season in the Brahmas offense that has several playmakers like Anthony McFarland and John Shea Kirkland, as well as a bunch of others I didn't name. But the Renegades defense wasn't that good last season, but I do think they're going to be a lot better this year. But I think this is going to be one of the better games of Week 1. I can definitely see this game going either way, because the Renegades, they have the more proven quarterback and they're home. But I'm going to take the Brahmas to get the win. I really like their defense. I think their offense is pretty good as well. And I've got the Brahmas with the win, 22-14. And moving to the games on Sunday, starting off with the Panthers at the Showboats. So this is another game here in Week 1 that I think is going to be pretty good. The Showboats, they're coming off a rough season last year, going just 2-8. But I think they're going to be significantly better this season. And for the Panthers, they had a good year last year making the playoffs, and this year's team might be even better. The Showboats have not named a starting quarterback, and it will be either Troy Williams or EJ Perry, and maybe we'll get to see both, because that is something teams like to do, get a look at both quarterbacks early in the season. But the Showboats offense matches up against a great Panthers defense with playmakers all around, including the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, Breland Speaks. Then on the offensive side of things for the Panthers, they also haven't announced a starting quarterback, as their battle is currently between Danny Etling and Bryce Perkins. And I'm interested to see who the Panthers end up starting, although head coach Mike Nolan has said the Panthers will be comfortable with either quarterback. But whoever the quarterback is for the Panthers, they will be helped out by a good run game and a good group of receivers. But the Panthers offense, they face a great Showboats defense that is led by new defensive coordinator and former USFL assistant coach of the year, Jaron Horton, as well as several new offseason signings. And I think this is going to be a really good Showboats defense. But this is another game I could definitely see going either way. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game, as both these defenses are very good. But I'm going to take the Panthers to get the win. I think they got the better defense, the better overall team. I definitely think this could go either way, but I got the Panthers with the win, 16-14. And our final game of Week 1, we've got the Stallions at the Defenders. So the Defenders, they're in a tough spot here, as they just lost their head coach Reggie Barlow not even a week before the season starts, as he's now the head coach at Tennessee State. But the Defenders' offense should be solid, as they should have a great run game led by star running back Abram Smith, who was insane with the Defenders in 2023 before he tore his ACL last year. But now that Abram Smith is back healthy, he should be pretty good for the Defenders. although I'm not quite sure about this matchup because it matches up against a great Stallions defense, especially a great front seven, led by nose tackle Carlos Davis, and a great linebacker trio, Tay Crowder, DeMarcus Gates, and Kayava Tizino. Then on the flip side, the Stallions have not announced a starting quarterback yet for this game, as it will either be Matt Corral or Alex Magoo. And even though we don't know who their quarterback will be, I still think the Stallions offense is going to have a pretty good game, as both quarterbacks have experience in the system, as Magoo was with the team in 2022 and 2023, and Corral was with the team last year. And both quarterbacks are surrounded by a good running back duo of CJ Marable and Ricky Person, plus a great receiver corps. Then the Defenders' defense, they've got potential, but they weren't great last year, and I think the Stallions' offense should find some success against the Defenders' defense. But I have the Stallions getting the win here. I think they're the better overall team. They won the UFL championship last year, and once again, they're arguably the best team in the league. And I've got the Stallions getting in the win column, beating the Defenders by a score of 23-13. But those are my Week 1 UFL predictions. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, turn notifications. I do my best to post as often as possible. Be sure to check out the community tab of my channel, where you guys can vote on who you think will win this week's games. But that's all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. I do my best to post as often as possible, and I will see you in the next video.